So what's something that you think about when you think about Xbox and you think about what people's perception is of Xbox? Maybe it's Game Pass, maybe it's something else. I can tell you there's quite a few. There's obviously ones that, if a game's in Game Pass, it won't sell at all. If a game is on Xbox people won't buy it. These are fallacies of the utmost, and it's really unfortunate that this happens, and it still happens to this day and age, because let's just be real. Xbox fans buy games. Xbox fans will buy games that are in Game Pass. For me personally, I buy games that are interesting to me, right? Like, I still buy games just even if they're in Game Pass. Like, I bought Starfield. Now, I'm playing Forza Motorsport through Game Pass right now. At some point, I'll probably pick it up. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good game. But instead of... What's interesting is what people don't realize... Thanks to stuff like Game Pass, which I'm fully utilizing and paying for, I'm able to buy other games as well. So, picking up the new Sonic game, picking up the Alan Wake 2. These are things that I'm capable of doing because of Game Pass and because, I have a choice. And obviously, the first-party stuff stays in Game Pass, so it's not really a problem for me anyway. Again, it's interesting stuff that we see, the stuff that comes about, but... At the same time, I found it to be pretty interesting how this comes along. And, again, how people kind of look at this stuff. Well, it looks like Starfield kind of busts the myth about Game Pass. Xbox subscription service didn't stop Bethesda's RPG from dominating the sales charts, what I think is a good thing. The newest giant role-playing game, Starfield, which hit Xbox Game Pass day one of its release, enjoyed a very loud launch month. In fact, the developers singled it out as Bethesda's biggest launch game of all time. Think about that, all time. Now data from the consumer analytics company Circona backs that up with some new numbers. If you look at their sales data for September, you'll see that Starfield was the best-selling game in the U.S. on that month. Add in spending like the $35 premium edition upgrade that many Game Pass members tacked onto their fee base to come into the early access wasn't accounted for in the data, which makes Starfield taking the number $1 earned spot here even more impressive. So think about that. All the people, which were over 1 million on Xbox, by the way, playing Starfield early, paid the $35 fee, some of them could have bought the $100 edition as well, but let's just say, it was 60-40 or 70-30 that paid the fee. None of that 70 was counted towards this, so pretty incredible when you think about it. Starfield achieved record sales in spite of Game Pass, which parent company Microsoft reportedly recognizes causes the decline in base game sales 12 months following their addition to the service. Starfield's next 11 months of sales then could be more contentious. There are already signs of its, of the game kind of losing some steam. And talking about Steam, their global sales charts, the latest Bethesda RPG fell 26th spot last week to a number 45, sitting between The Division 2 and Lies of P, the latter which also seems to be suffering from dwindling hype. Starfield is performing a bit better on Steam's US only chart, around the 27th spot, though it dropped 12 spots from ranking there last week. Big releases, especially around this packed October, keep threatening the standing. Mortal Kombat 1, EA Sports, FC24 are right behind Starfield in September, and the Circana charts indicates, anyway, by some kind of weird wizard magic, Excelsior, Hogwarts Legacy was the U.S. 5th best-selling game in September, though its concurrent player count seems to be shrinking ahead of its Switch port. Again, the Wizard game's surface level magic has carried it pretty far through this. Hogwarts Legacy is the best-selling game of 2023 so far, and to Starfield's credit, its first month was impressive enough to help it creep up to the number 7 spot, right under Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which obviously was released on multiple platforms. And so even though people do kind of want to point at stuff like Starfield and go, look, it didn't launch or do as well as Forza, which Forza was a launch. Forza Horizon 5 apparently is Xbox's biggest current gen launch, but that current gen launched on Xbox One as well, so you had 50 million extra people potentially buying that on Xbox. So yeah, it's not exactly apples to apples. But at the same time, people are always going to look for sort of the negative when it comes to Xbox. Trust me, I've never ever seen, a situation where a game sells and then is number one, and they go, "Oh yeah, it is number one," but the majority of these sales are on PC, right? I've never seen that before this instance, right? And everybody's like, all the sites are quick to point out that, yeah, it was number one, but majority of the sales were on PC. It's like they want to make sure that everybody knows that, it was thanks to PC, not Xbox. Well, PC is Xbox. I hate to say it, but it just is. It's Xbox. And, Microsoft is doing, something a little bit different than Sony. And, I get it. People didn't like the whole Microsoft buying Bethesda thing. They don't like them buying Activision thing. Trust me, I get it. It is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, at some point, you got to let all that shit go and, just realize that, Microsoft and the fans and all that kind of stuff are fans for a reason. And, they're going to be able to enjoy these games now. And I think that is pretty damn awesome. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future with this. It's going to be interesting. I, for one, am super excited by it. I can't wait to see what they do in the future with all these studios and all these ideas that they have. It just seems like it is a very smart thing for them to do. And that, to me, is exactly why, I'm a fan. We never know what's going to happen. And I think what's happening right now is people aren't sure what to make of this stuff, because we're living in a day and age where people are trying to downplay games that score mid-80s Metacritic, right? If you're scoring mid-80s out of 100, you're doing phenomenally well. I don't care who you are. And there are people out there that legitimately don't like Xbox and tried to, sink this. I've never seen this happen, to other developers the way and other companies the way that it happens to Xbox. It is just absolutely asinine the way that this happens. And, it's really sad to see, because, I feel like, and probably as many of you do, that gaming needs Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, and it's just one of those things that that keeps happening, where people show their bias in true colors. And I still think, Microsoft has a long way to go, but when you have a year where you launched, 5 or 6 first-party games, I think that helps make up for a lot of the past, and I think people should really honestly kind of just get over it at this point. So, anyway, I'm very curious to hear what everybody else thinks. I appreciate everyone that takes the time out to check out my videos. If you would leave a like on the video, I would appreciate it, and possibly even subscribe. Would appreciate that as well. Have a great day. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.